Thought I'd take some time and talk through some interesting things that I saw this week as far as AI and the crazy advancements that are happening. And yeah, just kind of talk about it a bit. I am live here on YouTube, so we'll see how this goes. If you guys ever catch me live again, feel free to drop a comment in the comments section. I'll respond to those as we talk through the topics. But yeah, let's go on ahead and get started here. So I think the first one I wanted to look at was this one, which I thought was really cool. Taiwan hospitals AI research on antibiotic resistance wins recognition. This is actually kind of crazy, but everything with AI is kind of crazy right now. So, yeah, it says a team from National Taiwan University Hospital has won top honors at the Infectious Disease Society of America, taking the Abstract Award first prize for an AI powered system that predicts bacterial antibiotic resistance. And it gets kind of crazier, I feel like, when you look into it. So he says the team analyzed more than 400,000 clinical bacteria samples and integrated large language models to develop the system. The model can identify bacterial species and provide precise recommendations on antibiotic selection, dosage, and formulation, helping doctors improve treatment and outcomes. You're like, oh, okay. So it can break down and identify different types of bacteria. Cool. It can label them. People can do that, but I feel like this is where the rubber starts to hit the road with this. He said the system can also predict whether bacteria are resistant to antibiotics in under 30 seconds, covering about 80% of bacterial strains. That seems very quick, but then, of course, the comparison as well, I'm sure we have that today. They say down here, after talking about sepsis, typically tests to determine which antibiotics work best take 3 to 4 days, during which doctors must rely on experience to select initial treatment. According to the hospital with rising bacterial resistance, about 30% of people with sepsis do not respond to the first treatment, delaying critical care. So, yeah, and then up here when they talked about sepsis, sepsis is triggered by an infection, excessive immune response, causes inflammation, can lead to organ failure, shock, or death. There are 110,000 cases annually, with up to 50% of severe cases resulting in death. So this is a major breakthrough, actually. 80% of bacterial strains. That's that is a pretty good amount of bacterial strains. I doubt the doctors are, on their initial assessment, like it said, able to identify correctly these strains, and then to know, oh, we should give them this medicine over this one because it will respond better based on known resistances. I mean, this is incredible. Very, very cool thing to learn about here coming out of Taiwan. So yeah, from 3 to 4 days to 30 seconds, and they're able to quickly give them the treatment days ahead of time, and then possibly reassess, after some time, maybe run it again. Takes another 30 seconds. Pretty cool stuff that Taiwan is doing with AI research. And then next up here, I'll jump over to Google's DS Star. Let's go back up to the top here. So, yeah, Google is kind of changing. This is just, I guess, their research side, right? And what they're seeing, what they can get AI to do. And they're taking a different course than most, which is why I thought it was pretty cool to highlight this. So, instead of, let me just give you the rundown, because this gets kind of in depth, but it's pretty awesome. So instead of taking all the random PDF, CSV, Excel file, whatever you've got, and putting it into a database to then run metrics on it, which is how most of the world operates today, Google is just saying, let's not wait for people or automated systems to try to enter this data in. Let's just use AI systems to get this data in a format that we can then run reports on, and the AIs will do that as well. So, yeah, interpreting various documents to perform complex data processing and statistical analysis is what DS Star from Google is attempting to do and has done, apparently, and it's pretty awesome. So it says a major issue is their heavy reliance on well-structured data like CSV files and relational databases for large language models. So oftentimes we're like just dropping in raw data into these databases. Probably not good database management, but we are humans and doing what we can, and not everything is completely, up to par for what would help the AI. So instead of us cleaning up all this data and trying to get it in a format for AI to better understand, it's actually just the AI is going to meet us where we're at and start, deciding on the best format for the data itself, which is pretty awesome. So they've got this these little images here, and I thought these were fantastic through the research paper. I haven't looked at any other Google research papers, but I thought this was pretty awesome. So they've got your different data formats: JSON, XLX, PDF, CSV, even just text. And then it's basically going to write this solution code to then get your output back into a human format. After it kind of does some initial querying of this data and tries to get it in a format where it can run the code, and then help you with your charts or whatever visualizations that, I'm assuming like a board would need, or, C-suite level individuals. So here they give a little bit of a breakdown of the key innovations. So number one, a data file analysis module that automatically extracts context from varied data forms, including unstructured ones. Yeah, this is crazy. And number two, a verification stage where an LLM-based judge assesses the plan's sufficiency at each step. And number three, a sequential planning process that iteratively refines the initial plan based on feedback. So this is just what like anyone who's loading data into like a database would do. It's just now they're going to have a team of AI agents that are able to handle this, what seems simple to us sometimes, fairly complex task, because unstructured data is rather difficult, even for individuals. So for AI, it starts to get messy. So it says here, the DS Star framework operates in two main stages. First, it automatically examines all files in a directory and creates a textual summary of their structure and contents. So it kind of, makes sense of what it's looking at here, tries to get a good understanding. This is their agent analyzer. And then second, the DS Star engages in a primary loop of planning and implementing and verifying. So it's got these different agents, and they've got the image down here below. It's got this agent coder, agent verifier, agent router, and agent planner. Now, these are all different from the agent analyzer above, which does an initial look at the files and tries to, create a Python script to kind of diversify based on what it thinks the contents is, and then it truly starts to, give an actual schema to this stuff. Is the question that we were prompted with, that it's trying to give you the solution for. This agent verifier continually is asking the question, is the plan sufficient to solve the question? Is sufficient or insufficient? If it's insufficient and it's running into errors or something, it's going to go down to the agent router, and it's going to go, what should we do here? And the agent router, its only job is to go, hey, let's let's add a step, let's change a step. So it's kind of like managing the whole process here as the verifier tells it, hey, it didn't answer the question. And so then it goes back to the planner, and the planner, I guess, looks at the previous steps that were taken and kind of reorganizes. So there's like 3 different managers kind of happening to ensure that it's answering the proper question, and the agent coder, tries to execute the plan again. And that's its only goal. It's not worrying about, is this sufficient to solve the user's question? How do we refine? What are the next steps? No, they've separated this out into 4 different parts that function on a loop so that it can continuously iterate to try to finally get you a sufficient final solution. This is some awesome stuff that they're doing. And so down here, they've got some of the benchmarks, and you can see that a lot of the stuff is pulling ahead, at least in this way. And I mean, obviously, if it's unstructured data, I don't know how these other systems are doing it, but it seems like DS Star has definitely raised the bar. And I know some of these don't look that substantial, but I think this is pretty groundbreaking and awesome for what it's going to look like in the future to deal with unstructured data. It might change, the whole realm of data engineering. Depends how expensive this kind of stuff is and things like that, but this is pretty cool. So down here, they kind of do this breakdown of the 2 different parts. The data file analyzer, this agent is essential for high performance. Without the descriptions it generates, DS Star's accuracy on difficult tasks within the DAB step benchmark sharply dropped to 26%, as you can see down here on the hard level accuracy. So this is without the analyzer, that initial step that takes a first look at the files. Underscoring the importance of rich data context for effective planning and implementation. And then the router agent's ability to determine if a new step is needed or to fix an incorrect step is vital. When we removed it in variant 2 down here, DS Star only added new steps sequentially, leading to worse performance on both easy and hard tasks. This demonstrates that it is more effective to correct mistakes in a plan than to keep adding potentially flawed steps. And so, yeah, when they put both of these together, it seems to be a force to be reckoned with, as it goes from 26 to 45% on these hard level accuracy percentages. And I mean, this is a 6% increase. It's substantial. Obviously, the analyzer is doing a lot of work here compared to the router doing that initial look. And so maybe the analyzer will get better. Maybe the analyzer, will start to include more things like this to like maybe have multiple analyzers. I don't know exactly how they could refine this, but it's already doing a major part to improve their accuracy here. So this is a really cool breakthrough from Google as far as some of the research and some of the advancements they're making towards unstructured data using AI. Pretty awesome. And then finally here, what we've got is Meta plans 600 billion US spend as AI data centers expand. This is absolutely insane. I just thought the amount of money it has pledged hundreds of billions of dollars. 600 billion, guys. I know we talk in hundreds of millions and billions. This is $500 billion that Meta is investing into infrastructure and jobs over the next 3 years. This is so huge. These are major Zuckerbucks going in here, including artificial intelligence data centers. I'd say that's probably their primary, as the social media giant races to build infrastructure to power its AI ambitions. Yeah, it is doubling, tripling. I would say this is quadrupling down after it tried to, get those AI data scientists over the last several years. I think they're opening the wallet and they're pledging hundreds of billions of dollars into large AI data centers and bigger plans for all their compute needs. And I mean, it shows. Look at after looking at that, just pulled up these charts. And these aren't this isn't everybody, but these are some of the big dogs, right? So up here we've got, year to date. This is Palantir. I mean, obviously Palantir working with the military and using AI, it's just grown like crazy, 135%, over the last year. But even some of these other guys, like we've got Google here, up 46% in the last year with its Gemini and this AI research. These are big increases, And then Amazon, 11%, not bad. I mean, still good. But Meta is down here. I don't know if you can see it even here underneath of Amazon. And they've only had a 6% return year to date. And so they are really, I mean, and this drop obviously happened recently where they were, well above, what was it here, Amazon. But now, even at the end of the year, they're dipping down. And with this announcement this Friday, I mean, it really shows after this huge dip, Zuckerberg and Meta are just going all in. I leave this on the whole time. Oh, man. So, yeah, pretty crazy. Pretty crazy stuff. It's exciting stuff. It's really cool to see where all this is going. We'll see what ends up happening. But yeah, hundreds of billions of dollars from Meta pouring into the market after these massive tech layoffs. People saying they're not hiring, the economy's bad. Yeah, Meta's quadrupling down on data centers and AI innovations because they're seeing stuff like this come out of Taiwan's hospital AI research and Google's DS Star. I mean, these are amazing breakthroughs, so it makes sense that they're trying to get this number up and restore some hope. We'll see what actually ends up happening. Seems like this happened, what was this, on Friday. Really didn't impact their stock all that much at all. I mean, I know this is like, year to date, pretty large view, but yeah, so that's all I got. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.